Alright, welcome back to Final Fight 2. We are now in Holland. As you can see here, there's a new little stage gimmick here where someone has put mines all around the place. Obviously, if you walk into them, you get blown up. But, as you just saw, if the enemies walk into them or if they fall into them, they will also explode. Which is very nice. That's not just something, you know, to annoy you. One of my favorite things to do is to, like, body slam an enemy into one of the mines. That feels really satisfying to do. And yeah, this is just, I keep saying it, but I think it bears repeating that this is why I really do like this game, and I think it's a good sequel to the first one. I just like all the different locations you go to. Everything feels very unique, as opposed to the third one, which is just Metro City again. You know, we've already been to France, we've been to Hong Kong. Now we're in Holland. Everybody talks like this. That was not... Whatever that accent was, it was incorrect. Look at this one guy who's just like, I'm not walking forward. And he just did anyway. And that one guy just couldn't stop. Okay, so the guy who just ran in and jumped in, that is why that annoys me so much. Like, unless you've played this game 1,000 times and you know exactly when and where this enemy is going to appear from, he's just going to jump into the screen and attack you. He, like, homes in on you. I can't tell you how many times when I was, the first times that I was playing this game, you know, I was just, like, towards the edge of the screen, and then, you know, had, like, little to no health on my last life, and a dude just jumped into the, you know, the screen out of nowhere and killed me. It's just so annoying. There's, like, almost nothing you can do about it. Again, unless you've played this game a dozen times, I assume there's not really much you can do about it. Like that. If I had known that that guy was coming, I guess I could have preemptively moved out of the way. But, you know, I've only played this game like three or so times. It's just a little ridiculous if you ask me. Very fascinating ride up on that elevator. I don't know what's powering that elevator, but, you know, there it is. Maybe they do things differently in Holland, and fuck that guy, seriously. Leon sucks. Look, Capcom has another good Leon. This is not one of their stronger Leons, I have to say. Capcom was not sending their best when they designed this Leon. G Andore. What does that mean? What does the G stand for? Maybe giant? But he's already pretty big, so I don't know what the difference is between G Andore and just the normal Andore. I'm gonna just start calling him Yugo because I don't like the way that I pronounce Andore. And that's another thing I like about this game is that, like, this is technically a separate section from the first part, but we're in the same area. Like, the only thing that happened was that transition in the elevator. In the first game, you know, you walk through that little area, and then you go, you know, down into the building, and then you come out of the building, and it's like all different chunks of a level. Whereas this one is at least a little bit more seamless in that, you know, since the beginning, we've been in the same area technically, even though, you know, the game was loading in through that elevator sequence. But still, I think it's pretty cool. And, you know, it transitions here. Obviously, it's a SNES game. It can't handle that much, but I think it's neat when they try. Fuck you, Leon. Suck my eggs. These are the 3 most annoying enemies in the game, I think. We're fighting all of them right here. The guy who looks like he's from Devo that always tries to get behind you, Leon, and then Elik, who just always runs in from off screen and tries to electrocute you. I hate it. I wonder, because I didn't really do much looking into, like, what the general consensus on these 2 games are. I looked up some of that, and from what I can tell, like, I think people like the 3rd game more. But I'd love to see what people think of the enemies in this game, because I wonder if it would line up with what I think, which is that they all suck ass. 3 has a good balance. I mean, obviously 1 is the best. They have good enemies that are annoying, but the trade-off is that, you know, at least the version that I play is always the arcade version. You don't run out of lives, so it doesn't matter that much. And, you know, in this version, there's less enemies, but they're way more annoying. So, I'm curious to see what the actual general consensus on the difficulty of this game is, because I don't think it's really hard. I've never, like, completely game overed in this game. I've gotten continues, but I've never gotten a game over. Same with the 3rd one. In fact, the recording that I did of the 3rd one, I only got 1 continue. So when we, after this game, when we play Final Fight 3, I don't die. I don't get a continue until, like, the very end of the game, and then only then I get 1 continue. So I was pretty impressed with that. God, these enemies stink so much. I hate them. I don't mind their designs. I've always loved the kind of, like, 80s, like, punk gang, you know, leader, or not leaders, but just gang, like, members. Like, again, I said this in the first game, but they look like the guys that Arnold takes the clothes from in Terminator 1. Also, I was saying before, I don't necessarily think that there are any difficult bosses in this game. If there is one, I would say it's this guy, Bratkin. It is me, Bratkin. I look like a Frankenstein. Sorry, Frankenstein's monster. Frankenstein was the scientist. But yeah, he's kind of annoying. I think his hitbox is a little too wacky. As in, he has this jumping attack, and if you're even, like, near the silhouette of it, like the drop shadow, you're gonna get attacked by it, even if his model doesn't actually make contact with you. You're still gonna take damage like that. He didn't touch me, but I was in the drop shadow, which means, for some reason, I just took damage anyway. Which I think is garbanzo beans, personally. Also, this game has some weird names. We said there's Elliot before with 1 L, so it should be pronounced like Eliot. There's that guy Joni, Jony. I assume that's supposed to be Johnny, but it's spelled Joni. Like, they had the letters, like, they spell out Bratkin, that's a long name. They couldn't, you're telling me they couldn't spell out Johnnny? Nah, that doesn't make sense, dude. Hello, yes, I am Bratkin. Ho, ho, ho. The jump kick is probably the most effective attack in this entire game, because you can hit enemies off screen, you can hit them, like, it has a very large hitbox, it looks like. So you're gonna continue to see me using and abusing the jump kick, because it is a pretty great little resource in this game. I was really hoping that I didn't die again to him. I should have reloaded a save state there. I don't know why I didn't. Because I took a life for no reason. But here we are in jolly old England. Another of the places in this game that I have actually been to. England was pretty cool. I don't think I would go back, though. It was out of all the places that I've been to besides Ireland, it was the the most, like, okay, everything here makes sense because everyone speaks English. You know, you don't realize how much of a thing that is until you're like, because the trip that I went on went to, it was France, it was Italy, France, Switzerland, and England that I went. That was one trip. It was like a week and a half, and we went to all those places. It was really cool. I went back in 2006, and I think England was the last stop, and you don't realize how much you miss being in like an English-speaking country where everyone can understand you and you can understand everybody until you go to a new one. I will say though, out of that trip, I think Italy was, no, not I think, Italy was definitely the best. And this is weird. I figured there's a level in England. This doesn't really scream England to me. We're in like a train, like a shipping yard, and there's like a circus train. I don't know, that doesn't scream London to me. But then again, I don't really know what like does scream England besides there were a couple jokes I was going to make there, and neither of them would be appropriate. So we're going to move on. We're not going to say the stuff that I was going to say. Maybe a level where you have to kill Princess Diana, where Mike Haggar has to ride on a motorcycle taking pictures of Princess Diana while she's in her limousine. That was not one of them. I just improvised. That's a new one. The other ones were a little too inappropriate, so we're going to make a killing Princess Diana joke, which is not inappropriate. Come on, Mike, you could have jumped on that anytime you wanted. So you'll see there I now have 4 lives. That's because I had 0 going into it. And instead of showing, the beginning of that, and then me dying, continuing, and then having to restart, I just started from the restart. Which seems to make sense. So I'm not trying to, like, cheat or anything. I'm just cutting out game overs, so you don't have to see me walk through the same area beating up the same enemies twice. Elias, get the hell up. Get off my train. Get off my train. It's my world-famous Harrison Ford impression. No ticket. Those 2 different movies. Whatever. He likes to throw people out of planes, huh? Ugh. And then we got Giant Carrot Top over here. What's he doing? Just get out of here, dude. Eliot. Such a weird name. Why is he called that? Again, this doesn't look like England to me. Like, I think we saw Big Ben in the very beginning of the stage. But other than that, this could be anywhere, really. This could be America, this could literally take place anywhere. But again, I really, other than, like, having this take place at Buckingham Palace, I can't really think of what else you could have done for England, or just not put England in it. There are far more interesting places around the world to go to than England. And these guys are back. I think they're a little bit more annoying this time. Their Molotovs, I feel like they work a little differently than they did in the first game, where I feel like even if you do punch them, you can still get hit by their Molotovs, and I don't think that's an amazing thing. So here's the boss of this level. His name's Philippe. He's just a clown. Like, I don't know, he's just a clown. There's not really much else to say. He's just a clown. Another very easy boss. The only annoying attack that he has is he has this, like, slide move. That's pretty hard to dodge. I don't really think there's much that you can do about it. So just hope that he doesn't do it. I've heard some people, yeah, that move right there, say that he spams that move. I didn't particularly get that to happen, but that does look like it is something that is possible. But with the defeat of Philippe, that is the end of round 4 and the end of this video. So I will see you next time.